Good evening students, welcome to my channel. So in the last video we have discussed the first stage of healing, that is known as inflammatory phase. That phase starts from the day 0 to the day 4 and merge with the second phase of the healing of the wound, that is the granulation phase, which usually starts around the 5th day and ends at the 20th day. So there is no clear-cut demarcation between these three phases of the healing of the wound, but these three phases merge with each other. So depending upon the predominance of various types of activities, we have divided these into inflammatory, granulation and the scar formation phase of the healing of the wound. So today we will discuss the phase 2 that starts with the 5th day onwards and ends at the 20th day. So this phase is known as the granulation phase, as in this case the real matrix is laid down in the form of, you can say, the collagen fibers, which form the matrix into which other materials of the, you can say, extracellular space is deposited. So these could be your various types of colloid materials, electrolytes and various cellular elements. So how does it starts? Because at the end of the first stage there is predominance of the mast cell which are being released because of the increased permeability of the capillaries. So these mast cells are mainly responsible for your phagocytosis, and these phagocytic activity prepares the fresh space for the deposition of the new collagen fibers. So three things happens in this phase. First is the deposition of the collagen fibers, which is deposited by the fibroblast, and these fibroblasts develop from the mesenchymal cells. Second is the angiogenesis, that means formation of the new capillaries into the granulation tissue, and these new capillaries originate from the, suppose this is the wound surface and the cut end of the capillaries, and from the endothelium of those capillaries these new vessels originate and migrate into the new granulation tissue. Third is, after the completion of the granulation tissue there is epithelialization of the surface of the wound. So in case of surgical wound there is very minimal dead space into which all these phases of healing takes place. So because there is no space, so almost 7th, 10th, by the 7th or 10th day, if we remove the stitches, wound has already healed. So healing that wound healed does not mean that there is a full strength in the wound. If we put any extra pressure over the wound will open. So but in case of your wounds which are contaminated, suppose drainage of abscess and the dirty wound of road traffic accident, where we suspect that closure is not the safest method of treating the wound, in that case we do the debridement, we do remove the pus and other foreign material, and we let the wound heal by secondary intention. That means if this is the cavity and the wound will heal from here, the granulation tissue will be deposited layer and layer. When it reaches to the surface, the epithelium from the two margins of the surface of the skin or epithelium will migrate and meet in the center of the wound. So in this way, when there is gradual deposition of the granulation tissue, so there is simultaneously angiogenesis, migration of the capillaries. So what actually happens by the end of the first phase and the onset of the second, there is predominance of the mast cell, and these mast cells are responsible for the phagocytic activity to remove the debris, dead tissue, and prepare the ground for the deposition of the fresh collagen fibers. So these collagen fibers are deposited by the fibroblasts, and these fibroblasts originate from the mesenchymal cells, and also they reach from other sides to the site of the healing of the wound. One thing, so whenever there is deposition of the collagen, so there are many stages of formation of the collagen fibers. So quality of the collagen fibers depend upon the quality of the amino acids which are present in the collagen fibers. So these amino acids comes from your diet. If the patient has a good protein diet, that means the scar formation will be strong as compared to the malnourished patients. So in that way, when we are hoping that the wound should heal in a good way, in a strong way, so we should also try to maintain the good nutrition of the patient in the post-operative period. If time permits, we should always have a good time for the preparation of the patient so that we are operating on a healthy and well-nourished patient. So this non-healing of the wound is a surgeon's enemy. If surgeon has performed his procedure very well and at the end of 10th day the wound does not heal and the wound gapes, so there is total failure of the surgical procedure. So whenever the collagen is deposited in the healing area, so first there is immature collagen. That immature collagen undergoes hydroxylation. So hydroxylation is catalyzed by the ferrous ions, zinc and the vitamin C. So this hydroxylation then lead on to the glycosylation into the tropocollagen, which is more stable form, and further then stabilization takes place, which causes the interlinking of the matured collagen fibers. Now you can say the framework has been laid down by the collagen fibers. So into these spaces in the collagen fiber matrix, there is deposition of the extracellular material. These are polysaccharides, these are cellular elements, these are various types of capillaries and various types of cellular elements. So when this kind of things are taking place, so what exactly happens at the time of birth is that there, as I have discussed, the collagen fiber deposition is into, you can say, the first stage, second, third. First is the immature collagen, then further maturation, and then further maturation, and then stabilization. So the collagen fiber which is present in our body, that is the adult body, or from birth till the adult stage or elderly stage, so this is type 1 collagen fibers which is present in our skin, in our bones, tendons and fascia. So type 2 collagen is present mainly in case of cartilage, and in case of, you can say, fetus, intrauterine life, there is type 3 collagen fibers, and this type 3 collagen fiber is replaced by the collagen type 1 at the time of birth. So when child takes birth, there is a replacement of the type 3 by the type 1 collagen fibers. So by the end of, you can say, the 20th day, so there is deposition of the collagen fibers and there is maturation of the collagen fibers and deposition of the matrix and various cellular elements. Angiogenesis takes place, and then there is epithelialization once the granulation tissue fills the space in the wound. So at the end of the 20th day, there is scar formation. So this scar is mainly composed of collagen fibers and it does not match with the normal skin. So the strength of the scar is always less than that of the normal uninterrupted skin. and that strength is, even at the end of the 1 year, it is 70 to 80% depending upon the nutritional status of the patient. So whenever surgeon is planning for a surgery, so one must ensure that if there is no emergency surgery, must ensure that patient is properly nourished. Nutritional status of the patient is good, otherwise there will be wastage of surgical procedure in case the wound does not heal. So this second stage merge with your third stage, that is the scar formation. So when by the end of the 20th day, that is the end of the second phase of healing, there is formation of the scar. So until the death of the patient, there is continuous turnover of the collagen fibers in the scar tissue. So that turnover of the scar tissue takes place according to the tension that is present along the scar tissue. So whatever the scar tissue is present, that scar tissue undergoes continuous turnover throughout the life of the patient. So fibroclasts are the cells which are responsible for the removal of the old collagen fibers, and the fibroblast replace the old fibers with the new collagen fibers. So there is continuous turnover, and that turnover depends upon the tension along the line of the scar tissue. In that way the wound heals, and the strength of the wound, as I have already said, that is always less than the normal uninterrupted skin. Thank you very much. If you like this video, you can share it with your friends, and you can also subscribe to my channel so that you cannot miss the videos in the future. So in the next video we will discuss the head injury. What are the various points that you have to look for a patient in a head injury, and how to take the history, and how to make the diagnosis in a head injury patient. Thank you very much.